What's up, guys? Welcome back to Viewer Castles. Today we're going to start off with ilpalazzo. Castle level is 19, so I'll jump into it on my knight and see what he's got. Alright, so leading with a smelly warrior. The smelly warrior is almost just a distraction, basically, because I have to get to these smelly archers, because they're the main DPS here, but then also there's the chicken, which is kind of annoying. It seems like when you stun a chicken, he takes a while to get up, so I don't know, that's just something weird that I've noticed. I'm not sure if it's actually longer, it probably isn't, it's just like maybe the animation is a little slower or something. That's an okay group though. I don't know, the smelly warrior, he's okay. The thing is, there's not much trap pressure that I have here. Maybe if you change this to a rotating cannon trap, it would put a little bit more pressure on me as I'm fighting. Because I think that would be one thing that would help out the smelly warrior a bit. I need to get out of this jelly wall, taking way too much damage. Or not way too much damage, but I was too slow. Alright. And then eventually kill this guy. And continue on. I think the Pete Poundmore set up pretty good though. You got the enraged puppeteer there, and it didn't hit it the first time, but the second time it hit, so that's pretty good. Alright, I'm gonna go after this. I believe, I don't remember if this change actually went through, but I believe he doesn't put up his shield when there's no other units around. So if you kill all the other units while this guy's trying to shield, he'll just be a basic Robo Shieldotron, which isn't all that strong by himself. I don't really like the shield specialization. Out of all of the specializations, I think it's the weakest. Because of that specific fact, it only works while there's minions around, and it's pretty easy to just avoid it and like kill everything else. I guess it's a little bit better against archers maybe who don't have roll, so that they can't really get around him, but once he puts his shield down, you can just kind of walk around him because he's not really threatening by himself, and then kill off the minions behind him. So you might want to switch that out for something different. AoE is usually best, or, well, in your circumstance there, since you didn't have any high priority targets to defend. This one might be on AoE, yeah. This is a good anti-volley mechanism, although the Stairmasters that are on teleport usually teleport out of the volley before they die anyway. But it's not bad either way. They do get stuck around these mines, so that's something you could think about. Maybe you want to like remove one or two of these mines. It also adds like kind of a area where I can dodge behind it and wait, and if I like sit here behind here, the Stairmaster has to come up next to me. So a knight can do that to make the Stairmasters come to him and then get a little bit more cleave bonus. Be able to do a little bit more damage with cleave, basically. This is a pretty good room here. I have to pull it back or else, you know, the trap's gonna do way too much damage to me. Once I get into this spot, there's a nice little area where I can fight without having to take any trap damage, which is really good for me because this group is mostly space control. I would actually argue that maybe the puppeteer here isn't their correct choice. I don't know if you have dampeners yet, or those. I don't know if you get those at like level 20 or 24. But maybe a dampener here instead, although I don't know if you'd be able to get the one extra point to be able to throw it in there. Just enraging these already slow mobs doesn't really add much to their DPS. Like, Hungerbots aren't known for their DPS anyway, and then Smelly Warriors, they don't attack that much quicker that it really makes a big difference. I think the 3 points could easily be like thrown into a different unit. Oh, I just double pulled accidentally. So that's good for you. You can kind of force out a double pull. Mainly because I didn't want to go back and worry about this trap. Luckily I did a ton of damage to that Jimbo right there. Alright, I'm going to use a heal. So this corner is pretty brutal for Zeke, and for archers just in general. Like, there's a lot of corners in these rooms here where you have your archers placed, and it's really easy for a knight or even an archer to just pull back around a corner, wait for the Zeke to approach him here, and then just kill him as soon as he gets next to him. Any corners like that are really brutal for smelly archers and Zeeks to deal with. because they rely on their range so much to be useful. Alright, I can see the springboard trap there, so I'm not really going to fall for that unless, you know, I don't notice something. So that's probably a wasted trap. Yeah, there's nothing really even to force me to go onto this, so the only way that this is going to ever work is if someone just doesn't know that this trap looks like this. Like, someone who's never seen a springboard trap might accidentally step on it, and then you aggro into... is this all one group? No, it's two groups. That's actually interesting that you were able to make it so that a springboard trap aggroed two groups at once. That's pretty difficult to do, actually. But either way, I don't think many people are going to step on that. This group by itself, I feel like the mittens isn't really good. I hate having a 10-point unit that only really gives attack speed. Like, his auto attack damage isn't high enough, I don't feel like, to justify using him as a unit. So when he's only able to increase the attack speed of one or two other units, it's just not worth it in my opinion. Like, bad dogs are much better for increasing attack speed, I think, than mittens are. Or even you already have enraged or puppeteers, so I mean, you could use that as well, depending on the units that you want enraged.
Oh, my tummy hurts.
Alright, I'm just gonna use a potion, since I'm probably close to the boss room, probably after this room. Stairmaster's Defendatron. There's not a ton of corners here, but there is this one, and there's nothing really to punish me here. Maybe if this was a trap, instead of a slow trap, maybe like a rotating cannon or ballista that could maybe reach this corner here, it might help it so that I can't abuse this corner too much. But it is only Stairmasters, and they are decent at fighting around corners. At least these Stairmasters are, because they can teleport away from the hero. I think this group would be a lot better if there was a trap, like, if there was more trap pressure here. Like, I can stand in this corner here, and I could just, like, sit here for a while, and the units by themselves don't do a ton of damage. It's mainly the bash back from this guy, and then when he bashes me back, or if I run away from him, the cyclops will then charge. But without any traps here to deal damage, there's not really any damage for, you know, me to be afraid of. When you use these space control units like this, it's really important that you have good trap coverage, because that's really where your main DPS is going to come from. Alright, and then Count Nottingham, pretty good boss. And I'm going to have to try to get him away from this Defendatron just because I don't want to deal with the Defendatron first if I can help it.
I need to get out of here.
Might have to use a potion, which is my last one, so I'll have to be a little bit careful here. And yeah, the enraged Count Nottingham is really good. Like, using only a 3-point unit to enrage him I think is great. A couple of castles I've seen like a mittens with him, and I don't think that's nearly as good. But I think this group was pretty good. Good castle overall. Oh wait, I had one potion left. Alright, well that was fine, but either way, pretty good castle. Just maybe work on a couple of those trap placements that I mentioned earlier on, and you'll be doing just fine. So we'll jump into number 2 in just a second. Alright, for number 2 we have Cueball 21. Castle level is 20. So again, I'll be trying it on my knight. Might be a little difficult because he's one level higher than me. I'm a pretty terrible knight, but we'll see what I can do. So this is pretty annoying, obviously, you guys can see. These guys are pretty hard for knights to deal with. A little bit easier for archers to deal with because they can dodge in between shots pretty easily, and they don't have to walk around trying to chase them. Having a Zeke this early in your castle kind of begs for the person to just stand here and abuse this corner the best they can. And that's what I tried to do there. Because there's never any trap pressure around those corners right at the entrance. Alright, so you have a healing or a raising hell puppeteer with this pound more. I think that's a mistake because you only have the one unit that you can resurrect here. Even still, I might even say that bone puppeteers on raising hell, they kind of fall out after around level 12 or so. I think at level 20 you should really only be using Dr. Skulls on raising hell if you want to raise minions like that. Alright, so I tried kicking the Defendatron away, which worked, but I'm still getting owned. So again here I would like a puppeteer on something other than raising hell to help support, rather than this. I'm gonna use one potion. And go after the chicken here. I think chickens are one of those units that they're good pretty much anywhere. This room even especially because there's quite a bit of trap pressure. Like, I can try to fight in a small area like this, but against a chicken like that, I'm gonna have to leave at some point because of the whirlwind attack. So it just makes me take a little bit more trap damage, I guess. And I can hear that crazy raptor sounding chicken in the next room. Thing is like the loudest creature, I think. Alright, so we have a bunch of snotters here. I'm going to assume that that's going to be a Dr. Skull pull. So I'm going to pull them back just a little bit farther than I normally would. And then try to dodge them to the side. Okay, it's actually just a puppeteer, it looks like. So again, I would say that puppeteers, their skeletons are just a little bit too weak at these low levels. And I would always use them on either heal or enrage after around level 12. Maybe you could push it to 14, but at that point I would start using just Dr. Skulls if you want to use a resurrect ability.
This really sucks.
And the big reason behind that is mainly volley and just the Knight's Cleave attack in general. When you can one-shot something with either volley or a cleave attack, it makes its effectiveness really low. So Dr. Skull, his minions can sometimes survive. Not always. So there's the Dr. Skull here. And they're also a lot more threatening. And then Dr. Skull by himself is kind of a little bit more difficult to kill. Especially if he has like a Defendatron on him. It can be really absurd to try to fight through these skeletons and actually get to him. Alright, I need to try to push it a little bit farther before I use another potion. And alright, that was literally just a derp and nothing else. I think these guys were supposed to be connected to that. Actually, it wouldn't be possible because... No, it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be possible. I think that these were supposed to be connected to that because they weren't. This is a little bit easier than it should have been because I could just go straight for the Zeke without worrying about being charged. So you'll want to look into that. It does seem like knights can combo down the chicken elite there pretty easily. If you guys noticed there, I mean, the chicken didn't really get an attack off on me, but he's still pretty low cost, and archers can't one-shot volley them, so I think it might almost be worth it to just use him still. I mean, I'm still figuring out exactly what scenarios he's great at, It feels like he's just kind of a good all-around unit, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So, you know, here again, you would want to have a support puppeteer rather than a raising hell, one that raises minions. So this is a little bit dangerous. With 2 Zeeks here, if I just do the, if I do like one wrong dodge, I could die almost instantly. Luckily I'm not an archer, so I won't die like completely instantly. And I can use one of my last potions here to finish it off. But yeah, I think maybe you might have just made the mistake that you didn't change the specialization on a puppeteer when you were building this castle. Because I feel like every single one of your the positions where you use puppeteers, except for maybe that one with Snotters, would have been better with either enrage or healing. So that's the main thing that I would say if you want to improve your castle. Just look at that. But yeah, we'll jump into number 3 in just a second. Alright, and lastly we have Mamimooshii. Castle level's a 20. So again on my knight, we'll go through it here.
I feel kind of bad for you monsters already.
Couple archers, so I'm gonna have to pull this back to this corner. Like I said in the previous castle, any archers or Zeeks that you use this close to your entrance, if you pull them back to here, you can see how they all kind of group up together for me, and they won't get any attacks off because I'll be constantly interrupting them as they're trying to like channel their attack. So when you have archers this close to an exit, you always want to pull them back to there. And as a defender, you probably don't want to have those in that position. So because this is level 20 castle, I'm probably going to have to kill the puppeteer first. Normally I wouldn't have to worry about that with like low health minions like cyclopses, but here I do. Alright. That looks like it is a dead end. Alright, let's see exactly where this hits. Alright, it hits right here, so I have like a little spot here that I can fight in, and then all around this backside here. Which is pretty good trap coverage. This isn't really ideally where I'd like to fight. I'd probably like to fight right up next to that corner if I could, but then there might also be a creature group waiting for me to approach there. And with the Stairmasters here, it almost forces me to take extra trap damage as a knight. More than I would like to. I almost want to go inside of this room to see what kind of traps are here, because I feel like it'd be a little bit easier for me to fight this inside than back there. And I'm gonna have to use a potion. So yeah, imaxes on this ability are pretty good at the lower levels. They're not as good as like Stairmasters at the higher levels, at least not what they were before, but they're not bad. They're annoying enough where I had to use a potion there, so it's pretty good. Where is this puppeteer? Alright. That group was fine. Although charging Cyclops is, you know, 2 of them is about the max. Sometimes I would say in certain circumstances 1 of them is enough. Because as you can see, like once you have charging Cyclopses, once they charge once and you get close to them, they'll never charge again unless you make distance with them. So
Now would be a great time to use a potion.
that's kind of my thought on those. Your positioning on these traps and like where these Stairmasters come is really, really good. Like it's making me take a ton of extra damage trying to actually deal with them.
To get out of here.
And I'm trying to not use potions because I feel like I'm going to need them later on. It looks like this might be the resurrecting Jimbo, which I'm actually kind of okay with because I'm hoping that it will use it on this, so it'll stun him, and then maybe I can kill it, but it looks like that did not work the way I wanted it to, so I had to use a potion. If it did work the way I wanted it to, and I got that smite off, and was able to kill off the Stairmaster, even if Jimbo would have survived, I could have probably stun-locked him long enough to be able to kill him without taking any damage. Alright, we have a Dr. Skull Pull here, which is a really good room for a Dr. Skull Pull. I think it's very similar to the one that I use in my castle. I am going to use this mine, though. And I'm going to ignore these chickens for right now. If this Dr. Skull will ever come towards me, there he is. And I'm going to wait for him to get really close to me and then try to kill him. And kick him away from the group. If you can isolate Dr. Skull like that, it's really good. So for you, in terms of defending, I would say that these mines should be moved somewhere. Unless they're really beneficial to like your other groups, they really hurt your Dr. Skull pull there. Because with this straight line room, I want to be able to make it so that Dr. Skull has to walk right up next to me. And the only way I can really do that is the way that I did it there. Or maybe I could hug this wall, but I wasn't sure that these guys wouldn't have aggroed. So I wanted to be, you know, safer in that sense. Alright, this is just a bunch of chickens. I don't think there's anything with this, because that looks like 20 chickens to me. So I just have to make sure that my next group I don't backtrack to that point. But it looks like it's just going to be archers. And I'm going to try to get close enough where I can cleave everything, and then it's a lot easier for me. Just another one of those, you know, rooms with a lot of corners. If you can get around a corner as a knight against archers, it makes it a lot easier to take care of them. And then as an archer, you just volley them all. If you can get them clumped up like that. That was a really good smite. I was able to kill 2 things with it. Again, we have the Griefer specialization. Not my favorite, but I've seen it used more and more recently. The damage is still like okay on almost any smelly warrior. It's gotten buffed quite a bit, but I don't know, I still like heavy-handed just as the basic space control mob. Alright, and then we have the boss room. First group here is going to be Pinstrike Scorpio with 2 smelly archers. If I was an archer here, dropping a volley right here would be like absolutely terrible for you because both of the archers would die, and then I could follow it up with a headshot to the Scorpio and then roll out of the way of his first attack and then just finish him off. Where it is now, as me being a knight, I'm going to kind of position myself behind this mine so that they can't hit me, and then just kind of deal with it here. And I should be able to dodge both of these attacks really easily. And then by then, the Scorpio will be solo life. Just kind of play around these mines. And that's one thing as well. You don't want mines around where your archers are going to be, because it's very easy for me to fight behind them and take way less damage. So for you, I mean, you want these mines gone if you have archers in this room. Same as like here. If I wanted to, I could fight this back here and not have to worry about the archers dealing damage to me at all. Although the, what do you call it here, this battering ram is a little bit annoying for me to be able to fight in one spot, so. Alright, I'm gonna use my potion and go after this puppeteer because I can't out DPS things. And now I just have to kind of deal with all the DPS. First thing was the archers, next will be the Stairmasters.
I need some hero juice.
And then it's really just the battering ram. I'm gonna get timed out, but that's okay. It's pretty common when I'm talking about castles and stuff. Alright, so there's that. Pretty good castle. I liked a lot of your trap placement where your Stairmasters ended up when they got pulled around. They were kind of right where I needed to be. As an archer, I think it would be a little bit more different because, you know, let's say there's Stairmasters coming around this hallway here and there's a trap right here, and they stand to fire at me right there. As an archer, I can stand back here out of the trap range and fire into it and drop volleys and whatever. Whereas as a knight, I have to walk into it, so it's kind of a little bit different. You have to try to do the best of both worlds, really, to get a good defense. But that's pretty much it, so we're going to end the video here. As always, if you guys enjoyed, I do please subscribe. If you want to be a part of your requests, you can email me at friendsofcastleruns@hotmail.com. I'm going to update the list right after today's video, which will be like 2 days ago or something, for since I'm recording it, and then it'll be uploaded in like 2 days or something like that. So the list should be updated again. I'm not sure how many videos we're going to have out this week. I know there's going to be a couple days where we won't have videos just because I've been busy, and I haven't gotten as many recorded as I normally do throughout the week. So it might be a couple of days without videos, but I'll try to get caught back up sometimes later this week. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.